Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Josh. I'm going to be your presenter today. Basically, we've taken on Church Windows over the course since the new release of the new payroll software has taken on a relationship for tax documentations, reporting, what have you, with the company called Aatrix. They really are very good at what they do, and there is a reason why we have taken them on. But basically, what we've seen occurring is due for a variety of reasons. It may occur, you've had to uninstall Church Windows and reinstall it. Now, if you're Church Windows Web or a cloud customer, I'm going to talk about that momentarily. But when you are running tax reports, now I'm not able to reproduce this today, folks, but oftentimes what occurs is folks go, oh, I'm ready to run my 941 form for, say, second or third quarter, a quarter of some kind. They go to tax reports. They click tax forms. They brings up here the forms. The error may come up, an error may come up right here when it's attempting to launch the actual list of forms, okay? Or it may occur when you're wanting to, when you choose the quarterly period and click print, the error may come up. It could come up in a variety of places, okay? But errors occur when the software Aatrix is not up to date with regards to Church Windows, okay? So first of all, if you're a cloud user, Church Windows Web, and that doesn't matter, I don't care whether you're, VOS, RDI, or Summit, or Cloud9, if you get this Aatrix Updater form, you must click no on this, okay? We are Church Windows, our folks who are responsible for our cloud customers, Church Windows Web customers, are ensuring that you have the latest forms from the government via Aatrix at all times. We are ensuring that this is updated with Church Windows from Aatrix at least once a month, okay? And that's, as we get closer to the end of the year, that may even be more often than that. If you are, however, a local, or what I mean by local is you've got a local installation, standalone installation, or you're running it on a network, you will want to choose yes on this updater. Whether you choose to do that every time, that's up to you. But if we go in to say yes, what it's doing is it's going into Aatrix, it's doing a double check in their system, and it's bringing in any new updates or forms, in their system, or any changes. They are literally updating their system multiple times, 2 or 3 times a week, we've seen in some cases, folks, okay? So like us as a software developer, they are updating their interfaces and their programs and their, software and forms all the time. Here we are at the end of summer. There aren't any new forms yet right now. If there are, then they would have written them in as soon as they got the finalized copy from the government on it, okay? So it's unlikely you would have gotten an error there. Maybe, but the point is, if you're Church Windows Web, you've got to click no on that. If you click yes and you're a Church Windows Web, and we've been over this on other events, is if you click yes on that Aatrix Updater, the first thing it's going to prompt you to do when you go in is enter a network user name and password, which as a Church Windows Cloud customer, you do not have. That is the cloud hosting company's username and password. So if you get that prompt to enter username and password, network username and password on Church Windows Web, just click no on it, okay? Now, when we choose our, say, 941 Schedule B here for 2023, and we choose our quarter, and we click print, it's probably even. It's going to confirm our deposit amount. And then when it pops up here, it's going to even pop up with another Aatrix Updater. We're going to have, if you're cloud, you're going to choose continue expired on that. Again, this is where we are ensuring you are on the cloud ensuring that you have the updated forms at any time. If you are, however, a cloud or a local or network user, you will choose something like automatic update, okay? Update forms automatically over the internet. That's what that means is it's reaching out into the Aatrix system and checking to see if there's any new information from Aatrix that we need to bring into Church Windows, and any new forms. That's true whether it's federal or state, okay? So if I do automatic updates, it does please wait. And it's now just going out into the web and it's doing an update on the Aatrix system. And then I can click yes on this and it's doing its quick check. Well, as quick as your computer and your internet speed connection permits or allows. Okay. However, so again, so there it flashed there and it's now done. Okay. It might take a few seconds. It might take a minute or two to complete that update because it's going out to the web. And so depending on the speed of your computer and the speed of your internet connection, I've seen this take 5 minutes for folks to get that Aatrix Updater updated. So you kind of have to be patient while it finishes it. It'll tell you if you attempt to print the form and go to print from there, it'll say, hey, please wait, Aatrix is being updated. So it will tell you when you can't print the form that you're wanting. Okay. So just be patient, and eventually it will finish. And if you choose continue expired, you'll just bring up the forms. And right here, as we clearly saw, there were no new forms when we ran that updater. Okay. The list will visibly change if a new form or something gets updated. Okay. The form version number will be on the actual form itself, of course, as it will with those tax forms and reports. However, what we're really here to talk about is, so again, if you're a Church Windows web user, you can log off the webinar right now. We're done talking about what you're impacted by, other than if you get an error when you're trying to print the forms, tax forms, please call us 800-533-5227. We have to know what it is to fix it. You cannot fix it with what we're about to do. So again, if you're a Church Windows web user, RDI, VOS, Summit, or Cloud9, you might as well just leave the webinar because none of this will pertain to you from this point on. Okay. All right. But if any of you are now local or network users and you're getting an error during this process, okay, it doesn't matter where it is, okay, and I'm going to bring up the page on our website here. So right here, I've got right here under our resource center page, we've got this entry that last year we were seeing it that said error running paid tax reports, entry point not found. That still is possible to possibly show up for you. We do continue to try to enhance this, but the error may be different. So when you come into Church Windows, you can attempt to fix this yourself, and this is why we put this out under the Resource Center. So if I go back to Resource Center, let the page load here, and we go down to the search box down the left-hand side here. He said, waiting for it to load patiently. Right here under search, you can type in entry, and you'll notice here, second one down is payroll error running tax reports, entry point not found. This is one way to access the file. So if we click on that and we click on right where it says here, you see that where my kind of mouse is circling around it right there, that takes us to the partner page on our website for Aatrix. Okay. You can also access it from our website by going up to More, Our Partners, and then going down here to Aatrix and Learn More. Takes you to the same page. Okay. And what you do is you go down here, and right down here under Download Updates, you've got Church Windows. And if you click on that, it starts a download process up here in the upper right. Okay. And then you run this file. And this should then fix that error. And folks, here's the thing. Every computer that has Church Windows installed has a folder called Aatrix software. So you just have to run this file on the computer where the person is getting the error. It doesn't have to be run on the server unless somebody's trying to run the tax reports and getting the error on the server computer itself. Okay. So, clicking on that now, if I click the downloads, we can run that file. Okay, there it is. It's trying to run it. So I'm going to run that, and it's going to probably pop up with a message and say, this is going to perform an upgrade for Church Windows Payroll. Do you want to continue? We simply click yes. It goes through an update, and it updates that Aatrix software folder on the computer where you're sitting. Every computer has a folder called Aatrix software. Okay, and then it says next, and it's now going through its installation process. This takes very little time. The most important thing I can kind of share with you about this is I've had folks who on support calls have said, oh, I'm familiar with this entry point error not found error. So I went back into my downloads folder and there's our finished prompt. So it's finished. Okay. So it's now done an update on the Aatrix software folder on this computer. Okay. But I've had folks and they go, I'm familiar with this error. So I went back into my downloads folder and I went into downloads and there's my CWP file that I downloaded 3 months ago and I ran it and it still didn't fix the problem. Well, because the old version of the file doesn't have the updates from Aatrix, okay? The only way this works is if you go back to the page on our website and download and run the newest or latest file for the fix for Aatrix. Okay. And folks, here's my wisdom, just passing on some wisdom as a technician for you, with you from for Church Windows is all it does is try to update and ensure that Aatrix software is updated on the computer. So if the error isn't exactly, entry point, entry point not found when you're trying to print the forms, go ahead and run the latest CWP file from that page. It doesn't hurt to do it. Okay. It's not going to break anything more than there's already broken by trying to run it. And I've seen it fix errors that were not, didn't say entry point not found. It was a different error problem, okay? But they were getting an error, having an error come up when they were trying to print the tax forms there on their local computer or their network, okay? And that fixes the problem. And then as soon as we run the CWP file, okay, we go back into payroll, go to reports, tax reports, tax forms, then it's going to pop up with the same messages we got before. It's going to say, do you want to update Aatrix? You can click yes or no on that. You do want to do it periodically. And where I've seen this occur typically, folks, is where maybe Church Windows had to be uninstalled and reinstalled. Okay, it didn't come up with that notice, and that's because we ran that CWP file, so it didn't get that. It went, hey, you've already got the latest information. But where Church Windows maybe has been moved, you've gotten a new computer, you've installed an older version of Church Windows, and maybe that Aatrix information isn't updated from that installation file. Okay, that's just one of the common reasons why I've seen that occur. We had to have the computer, Windows reset or something. You know what I mean? Something is typically changed on the computer. And so you just run that Aatrix Updater from that Church Windows Downloads folder under Aatrix, and boom, the problem is fixed. Okay. If yes, of course, after running that, if you try that on the computer where you're having the problem, you're still getting an error running your tax forms or tax reports, absolutely, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you get that fixed up. We may be running into something new. There's always, no such thing, folks, as bug-free software. Okay, so there are bugs. Bugs are just things and problems that users haven't found yet, but there's no such thing as bug-free software. So you may be helping us find something new that we need to find, and but I just want you to be courageous about that and go in and run that from that page. So again, let's go back to it again. So from our website, you can go up to more. Our partners and go to Aatrix e-file here and learn more, and then go down here to the Church Windows, download updates in the Church Windows, and run that file on the computer where the error is occurring. Okay. Again, each computer has an Aatrix software folder. Okay. Once that's run and finished successfully, then try running your tax reports again. Okay. Took 90 seconds for us to do that. Okay. We're still continuing to work out this interface on this, folks, try to make this better. But in the meantime, if you're getting that error and you want to try to avoid having to wait for a call from us, we're trying to do better on that and getting turnaround times, calls are faster, getting back to folks. But doesn't hurt for you to try this. Okay. All right. Yeah. So finally on this, before we wrap things up here is, folks, the 2023 forms are not available yet. They're not available in Aatrix. We just ran the update. What I mean by that is W-2s and 1099s. Okay. Those forms are simply not available. The final copy, we've got a draft copy in Payroll now that we're going to probably have another webinar on that. So you can certainly begin looking at those, but the actual official forms are nowhere close to being finalized by the government. As soon as they're available, Aatrix will make them available to you. And as soon as you run the Aatrix Updater, they'll be popped in automatically. Okay? All right. So that's where we're going to leave things for today.